right, all right. That's. I literally didn't have to move your poser, by the way. It just happened to go right there.
No, it just reminded me of that old story about Christian and how like Vince McMahon saying he was really ugly and so he should always have a blue dot covering his face.
That's funny. It's funny because it's true.
He does have quite a ratty face.
He is. All right. Looks like we got a network error on Twitch. Jane Huffman.
Is that because
We're just there we go.
Changing the themes maybe? It's just all right. So let's not do that.
Well, we'll do that during intermission, right? We'll pause for the cause, and then we'll go from there.
See, every time you say intermission, it just goes to that Offspring song in my head. Yeah, you know, the old do 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 do.
Right. All right. Let me do.
Welcome to intermission. All right, I just realized I didn't go to the bathroom before we started, so I'm going to run, and I'll be right back.
There you go. Just do what you got to do. You did. Kudos to you. All right. I think we're good to go. Everything tested out right. I was testing everything while you're out.
We're all good. All good to go.
Yeah. So what we'll do is I'll record the pregame. We'll kind of go from there. So tonight starts the second round, and the way it was set up initially, and the reason I like the 28 is because it allowed the second round to be 8 matches, which means you could do 4, break it into 2 weeks, 4 and 4, and then start immediately doing regular matches. So you can have 5 matches a week. Idea being in this week, you kick it off 4 HOFC world title match. Next week, 4 HOFC LSD match.
With a mystery opponent, I noticed when the card went up.
Well, I cannot put who it is because I don't want to give spoilers or anything until the show result is done, type thing. And then next week we'll have the Elite 8 basically in HOFC. You'll have 4 matches there plus a tag team title match depending who is still in the HOC tournament. So
okay, yeah,
it all depends there. So the longer Jat stays in it, the longer we prolong the tag team title defense. So that's kind of where we're at.
Is Jat LSD and tag team?
He is.
Good for him. For him.
He is.
Because I'm so out of the fucking loop.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like we talked about last time I did a show was just the fact that he's active 18 years later and actually not half-assing and having a good run is good to see. So tonight we have the 4 people that had a bye. They finally get in action. You got Kale and Dan Ryan, Jat and Harrison, Jason Cash and Steve Solex, and you got Hudson Hughes and Clay Bird. That match is the only one that doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that one. So we'll start the show with that match. but Huddy only
It's
got one up.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty stacked. Like, I mean, Sutler, Dan Ryan. Fuck me. That's that could be a pay per
Yeah,
view main event.
yeah. I mean, OC wise, 100% in character. It's Sutler trying to prove himself, right?
Oh yeah,
Against the
yeah.
Young Buck. But yeah, OC, you look at it, then you're good to go. You know the bad thing about us having to switch themes there to your little one that you wanted, and again, this is the one that Colin will be using when he hosts the show, and we'll actually get more graphics to it. But I wanted to at least get it up so we could see how it looked live, and I do like it. It's clean. It's the I like the different colors schemes that we can use, so it's just not all black, white, and 97
Yeah.
red. So that's good. And again, the more people we have that can do these shows, and the better. We want to take advantage of all the resources we put into it, and that's the key. Is we definitely want to maximize our spend, right? We want some return.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when you put the money in, you might get the value out of it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's where we're
Like,
struggling right now is taking advantage of it. I've been paying for the Mixler for a minute, and that was damn near $50 a month. So it's like free that up, put it towards Discord, put it towards the new Wi-Fi. Then you get people like yourself that donated recently. We'll put that towards next month's Discord, bump it back up to level 2, double our audio quality, and just off and running.
I didn't pay good money to bet on how long Joe Biden would do an old man ramble for it to go nowhere.
I'm bitter because I can't gamble on all that. Like the WWE, I would love to do that type of shit.
I know it's just all my stupid bets. I've got like three. I still got like four. What is it? 4 for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I think I've got.
And anybody, speaking of gambling, the high octane football team that we did is doing really, really well. We got 2 teams. Me, Mike, Hollywood, and Harrison have a team, and then me, Hollywood, and Harrison have a second team. Mike only wanted to get in one, and we're in it. We have all 4 quarterbacks playing this weekend. They're all on our team, so right now, one of the teams is in the money, and the other one's right on the outside. So that's cool. It's good shit. It's like 150 grand to the winner, and then all the way up to place 150 gets their money back. So
Nice.
yeah. So gambling is definitely part of HOW. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I gamble quite a bit myself. So
I mean, I've started getting back into Hold'em.
Oh no. Which we used to have a poker room. We had our own poker room. We had the high octane poker room. I can't remember which Poker Stars maybe or one of those.
Yeah, Poker Stars.
I had a private room and we would go in there and play.
So I remember back in the day, I ended up I beta tested full tilt poker when that was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of cool doing the beta because like all the pros who were like invested in the site were just playing like the free money games because they weren't running cash at that time. So that was fun.
And that's the thing, we got out of it only because it blew up. It went from basically you could run a free game or small, whatever, right? And now you got to pay for everything. And then there's 9 million people playing. So it's just harder to win when everybody's in it, So
yeah,
I would definitely be open to doing something like that again. That was a lot of fun. It always was a good time talking a lot of shit, and a lot of people play. More people play than you think.
Well, it's actually possible that we can use Twitch for it because I know there are poker streams on Twitch.
Oh yeah, for sure. The more we use this channel, the better.
For sure.
I really like the so far how it's delivered in terms of interaction, immersion, and all that stuff. The better. And again, the way we can customize the stream because I again dropped some money on it and all those are unlocked. It's really quick to change up anything, any live stream. We can make each one look different. I want to set one for the time being for HOC, which we will use. But again, the more we can do custom stuff, the better. And anytime you can use the posers, let's use them. And this is a great way to use the poser graphics for sure. Some of the graphics. So again, tonight is all about the first part of the second round. Next week, you have the second half of the second round, which will include everybody that wasn't part of the buy, right? Your 4, but Next week, well, let's talk about it real good. Again, we're on the pregame. We're not doing anything like official right now. We're kind of just bullshitting, testing out the stream, testing out the new Wi-Fi, testing out everything that we put into it. And just make sure everything's working proper once we pivot and go to live results tonight. But next week, you got Mike and Connor. You got Simon Lovelace and Xander. That's gonna be a great match. Teddy Palmer and Scotty Wood.
That's an
And
interesting one.
and the one that's gonna get all the hype, I don't know if it's hype. It's something.
What?
It's
There's
something.
something, yeah.
Yeah,
It's something.
Johnny Dorn and Devin Deshawn. So there's gonna be a lot of interest in that one because let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's pivot right to that one real quick. So
Yeah. I mean, I saw, I don't know if it's the Fed head or whoever was in the chat just saying, I'm sorry about what happened with the stuff. But here's the thing: like, if you're a Fed head,
I don't
like,
start. Just hold on. Just
talk to your guys. Talk to your guys.
Yeah.
That like, I'm not going to go to the big thing, but like, just like,
oh yeah, I
because
guess
because they've doubled down. That's the disappointing part. Is like when they were told, "Oh, this isn't like a typical thing that people normally do in this circle." Then he has handlers who've then went and doubled down and done it twice or 3 times now, and like it's not. That's just it's
Here's
not good for community. It's not good for community building.
So here's the thing, okay? And this is all I'll really say on it, unless I start drinking more. Look, at the end of the day, and I told this to one of the dudes, like, look, it's just different. We play the game totally different from their circle. I said from the minute for the last 20 years that I've played the game in RP, and I've had a lot of interaction with angle feds and hybrids, right, over the years. But HOW's always been RP fed. That's like rule number one, and that's one of the reasons I started HOW. You just don't use other people's characters without their permission, and you specifically don't use someone's characters from another fed in your fed results. Like I can see if I did something with Colin without his permission, he has a right to be upset, but it's in the fed, so like there might be a little bit of gray area, like, or I've had people just, hey, whenever you feel like you want to use me because they trust me, that type of thing. So that it's happened, but it's inside your own fed walls, right? When you have that where the intentions might have been like, hey, we're going to build up the hype for the match, we're going to get heat on it, we're going to put Dorn over. Honestly, all you had to do is probably hit up the handler, and the handler would have been, okay, that's cool. I don't mind you using me, and I beat the fuck out of a dude. But the fact that there wasn't that's where the disconnect, and then now you have the disconnect.
The doubling down.
Yeah, the double down, the triple down, putting all the chips on the table, and now they're just piling on. And at that point, best thing you do, and what I do to other folks, and I tell people to do the same thing for me, is you need the 24-hour rule, right? You put the 24-hour rule in place, you just ignore them. And if they keep going, that's on them, right? But I totally get where Dorn's coming from. I'd be hot. I told them I'd be hot if they use, but it's not. They're just making themselves look bad if they keep doing it. And if it's something that their Fed heads allow to happen in their Fed, so be it. That's how they're playing the game. Well, I'm not going to tell them how to run their shit, but I'm just going to tell you it looks bad, and it's bad optics, and it looks poorly and it's going to make people not want to work with them when we're trying to. I personally was just trying to help them out, with a website and trying to get them some promotion. I promoted the fuck out of them on, the past shows and whatnot. So it's hard.
Yeah, and I mean, it can easily happen. Like this is the thing I'll say straight off. It can easily happen because obviously they operate in a different way, and so in the first instance, easy enough mistake to make. Oh, we thought we were building hype, we thought we were building heat, but we didn't realize that people might feel differently to how we normally do things. And when you've got different feds involved in something like this, that can easily happen. It can super easily happen. And all it takes at that point is just to go, look, this is how we done things. We thought we were doing the right thing. We're sorry about that. And then I'd imagine it would have been over and done with. But
it's like anything. If somebody's going at it, the worst thing you do is lean into it. Because they're just not. Now you're giving them what they want. They want a reaction. You're getting a reaction, and there you go. Boom, done. I will say this, and kudos. Devin was been really cool to me on the side. I talked to Lars on the side. They've all been really, really cool with me. He said the right stuff, and I mean they get it. And it's one of those things where I reached out to them like, hey, boom, 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 done. on my end, it's over with. If it's gonna keep going, it's I mean,
Yeah.
it's unless a Dorn handler comes to me and says something that I need to react to. Look, at the end of the day, I told them like, look, that's not what we do. I'll no sell it, right? And if you guys want to keep doing it, that's on you. But I'm not gonna bring that over here to HOW.
See, I'm sorry because I'm just seeing Dev in the chat there, and he's saying, "I feel like she took it overboard," and it's like you're not allowed to say how someone reacts to how they use using their character. That you don't have the say in that. That's my one disconnect here. Is like just accept that it was a difference of operation, and then that okay, we're going to move on. But I just don't get this doubling down, and I know the guy who done it ended up doing a second thing with Johnny Dorn.
I don't think that's Devin, though. To be fair with you, Devin's not doing
that. Well, no, Devin's not doing it. But it was just like, oh, feel Hugh took it overboard. It's like, well, no, you don't get to say how other people feel about stuff. Like
no,
that's not.
I agree with you, Mr. Kettle called Black. Or whatever this thing is, because
look, I'm retired. I can say whatever I want now.
I'm just gonna say,
I can say whatever I want. I'm retired now. I can do well. Look, I've never used anyone's character. Don't you start?
No. I'm saying, who gives you the right to say how somebody should feel about something, Mister?
No.
It's too early. I can't do this on the pregame show, man.
No. It's just because we went down this road. I understand how it happened. I totally get how it happened. It's perfectly acceptable how it happened. I don't understand the fallout. No, it's such an easy thing to solve. Sorry, we do it differently. We thought we were doing a nice thing. Draw a line.
Hold on. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? It's on the internet, and it's a bunch of shit talking wrestling people, fake pretend wrestling. What do you think happens on Twitter? I tell you.
Well, I don't have a Twitter account anymore, so I don't know what happens on Twitter.
Okay, let's go on the way back machine. If I say, Colin, don't do this, please don't do that, because I don't want to deal with the bullshit. What would you do? You would run to Twitter. I'm not an employee. You can't tell me how to feel. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Dick, did you not do that all the time to me?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. Well,
it's the same. It's the same thing. It's different circumstances. It's just the same thing.
It is different circumstances, but I would say the handler involved. Yeah, you can talk about me, Kettle Black, because I'm just a massive hypocrite.
Yes, that's my point. We all are. If you know you can get a reaction from somebody, you're going to keep going, right? Because you're getting a reaction from them. Now it's. I
do feel like Dorn's handler, though, is one of those people who does respect people's space, if you know what I mean.
No, okay. I'm just saying, there's no point. We're wasting too much time on this anyway.
No. I know. I just to me, the only point I want to make is it seemed like such an easy thing to draw a line under that I don't understand why the guy who done it the first time decided to do it again.
And I'm telling you why. And I'm telling you why. He got a fucking reaction. The more the handler gives him a reaction, he's gonna be a dickhead and just keep doing it until he keeps not getting a reaction. Just don't give him a fucking reaction and move the fuck on, and we can talk about HOW.
Yeah, I guess so, because I mean, the thing that bothered me with that second one was that they buried HOW as well. And
I didn't read it.
Yeah, they buried HOW and called it a bingo hall fed, and that annoyed me.
Bingo hall fed. I will take that as a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment.
I mean, you like ECW.
Yeah, we're I've been called. So, anyway,
line under it. Okay, I just
it's a good talking point.
It just seems like
it's different circles. There's going to be overlap. The Fatheads have been really cool. They're vets of the game. It's just they play differently. They view the whole universe is at their disposal. So fucking be it. Let them play. I have the right to say we no sell it and we ignore it. And here's my big thing, right? And I hopped on the Twitter machine because I fucking hate it, but it's a necessary evil to hype stuff up, for today or whatnot. And
I'm not familiar with the website.
Fuck off. And my whole thing is, I don't care what happens OOC wise. I will never allow OOC to factor into a result. So anybody, and obviously Devin didn't know that, and he has every right to have that concern and thinking like, oh shit, I'm going to be in the mud. No matter what. So here's the thing: no matter what happens next week, and this is the reason that started this conversation. We go to the second round, and it's Johnny Dorn, and it's Devin Shawn. Dorn wins. What's Deshaun? The shitty thing would be, okay, I only lost because of this happened last week,
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
That's the shitty part of it. And if he wins, okay, then the Dorn handler is going to be, okay, Lee let him win, so the shit would be, there's just now there's that OC part of this result, which I promise you ain't going to fucking matter to me because I'm just going to read the
yeah,
trash talking. But everybody else, there's going to be all this ricochet shots about why and how they lost. When
but
it's honestly, it's 750 words on trash talk and how creative you are with the said trash talk. I
yeah,
promise you,
and
there's not a lot into it. There's not match relevance or
no,
hey, I know how to game the system because I known Lee for 10 years, so I can do this and I know I'll get points here and blah blah. There's none of that bullshit, right? It just straight up. And I just hope that no matter what the result, look, me and you have talked about this offline. End of the day, when the results happen, I tell people you're gonna get upset. It's creative writing,
yeah,
it's competitive writing. Give me 24 hours. Give
yeah.
yourself 24 hours. Don't quit and then come back. Et
I
cetera, et
think,
cetera.
I think, I think in the context of this match, like in terms of the role plays, so long as I think that's the only place where Deshaun could go wrong, but I don't think he will. Is referencing any of it. So long as he doesn't reference any of it, it's just an HOW match.
Exactly.
And if he distanced himself from the nonsense, like I have no idea about the guy who wrote that, but from my brief reading of what he's doing, guy seems like a dick. He might be a lovely guy, seems like a dick, but so long as no one
Look,
else is following in his trend,
we have a
then
lot.
it's fine.
It's hard for me because I don't want to catch stones here, but we have a
Yeah,
Fed full of lovely people that are fucking assholes. Let's be
yeah,
honest.
I'm
But
I'm one
we're
of them.
but we're assholes to
I'm
each
very
other.
nice.
No, you're a
I'm very
dick.
nice.
My first
Well,
live stream, you're bringing up pyramid schemes, and I wanted to choke you through the fucking screen. So
I heard
yes,
that HOW is a pyramid scheme.
yeah. See,
Is that true? don't don't I'm like a bull to a red rag. Don't tempt me.
I know
Don't do it.
that's my point. You are a lovely person. That is exactly like the dude that's being a dick right now on the other Fed. Is my point. We have good
Yeah.
peeps that are just being dicks because you see something that you'll get a reaction out of me, so you type it because you can't avoid it. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go live. Kyle will enter the chat. He'll write the word butts. Done. Repeat, rinse, repeat. And he's like Brock Lesnar. F5, refresh. He's already typed that. Second one, da 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 da. Oh, by the way, pyramid scheme, da 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 da. Oh, least pissed off. Hey, I'm a lovely person. Don't get mad at me. Blah blah blah. You're just a dick because you get a reaction out of me. And this is kind of the same thing, I think. But the difference is we're dicks to each other. We're family, and then we know, but we're both gonna. I know what to say to get a reaction out of you. You know how to say, and it's because there's a relationship built. When there's no relationship, the perception, right? Our favorite word becomes reality, and we're gonna assume that they're just out to just bury HOW with blah blah blah, and they're gonna feel like no
And
matter what, their guys are gonna lose because of what's happening with other people. I'm like,
no,
fuck.
and obviously that's not what's going on in any level. It just I don't know. You know as well as I do how things can easily spiral out of control.
Yes.
And it's just in this particular situation, I think it was just so easy to draw a line under it. And it didn't. Well, and that's the thing, I guess, Devin, I don't follow Twitter, so I don't know what the talk of the day has been. I genuinely
I
I
don't.
deleted my account.
I gotta.
I deleted my account ages ago, because Twitter is awful.
It is.
Twitter
It
Twitter is
is.
Twitter is the worst place. So I haven't had an account in probably best part of a year now.
So
But it's just that it's a mistake. People make mistakes, and
move
it's
on.
okay to just own up to the mistake and move on. That's all it is.
Yep. And if that's how you play, that's how you play. Just know that we'll no sell it and just keep going.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's on the handler just to like they're not going to stop. Just don't read it then. Who gives a fuck? Because it
I
honestly
know.
does not matter outside that little circle. All they're going to do
Yeah,
is make themselves look bad, and there's not going to be any heat because we won't play off it. Because ideally, see back in the day, the way to do it would be you'd be in an interfed together, and then you would work
yeah.
out that shit would happen on other shows to build the heat up. A great example right now of doing that type of stuff is with JD, right? With his Missouri Valley Wrestling and his
Mm,
BCW. What he does, he's got all these characters, and he'll use HOW guys. HOW guys will work with him. They'll do stuff on his shows. There's no other handlers in that. It's just JD writing the whole fucking show. But he does. He'll hit up other people, and he'll use other handlers. And guess what? Because it's handled that certain way, we'll play off of that. Perfect
Yeah,
example was the feud that he had with Steve Solix was amazing. Raw was part of that feud.
yeah,
And now,
and
guess what? That got JD's wheels turning. Now he wanted to come back. He wanted to get rid of Joe Bergman. Now, guess what? He's come back as Raw. So it's like there's there
yeah,
is definitely a benefit to working with other
oh, for sure,
feds.
and that's where Zion developed his new character as well, right? The big bunny stuff.
And that's why
Yeah,
Tony Khan is running AEW like an E-Fed. Because the motherfucker was an E-Fed, and now he's got,
well,
yeah, let's go over to Impact. Let's go over here. I mean, it's just, it's this, it's, there's so many benefits to doing it. But when you do it without the communication, you get this stupid shit. That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, and it's that's it. It's communication. And anyway, I think we could talk in circles and say it
No, no,
was so easy to
this
follow.
is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pregame, and this is what I wanted to talk about, and I kind of referenced it. I knew we would have to get it, and I wanted to get it out of the way before the show started. So this is
yeah,
perfectly fine, and we tied it into, they're gonna have to face each other, Johnny Dorn and Deshaun. So it went from probably, again, wrap it up. It was probably good intentions, put heat on it,
yeah,
but using a character, it spiraled very, very quickly, and now it's how they react to it now and how they play off of it now will just say a lot. And at the end of the day, if it's we can't play in the same sandbox, fuck it, who cares? They got plenty
yeah.
of
I
people.
mean,
They've had plenty of years doing this. They can go back and play in their sandbox. We'll go in
yeah,
ours, and we'll continue on. No big deal.
yeah, and it would be disappointing if that we end up having to close a door. Because the more you can interact and communicate with feds, the better. Like because we're a narrow enough hobby these days. That the more you can build that community, the better. But if it ended up being a situation where they just felt like, well, we're right, that's unfortunate. You know,
Yeah, at that point, again, it is what it is, right? You can't change
yeah.
their mind. I mean, and that's all you can do.
And the Sean's in the chat, and we and one thing I want to make clear is we totally understand his perspective. Like we know why it happened, and I say
Yeah.
we. I'm talking on your behalf. I understand why it happened. Let me not
I think
forget to speak
everybody,
for.
I even like, look, everybody knows I'm a big internet fed fan. I tried running Hot TV started because of that. That's where, we started Hot TV so everybody could be on the same network. We could run uncensored shows. I've always liked that because of the community aspect. And one of the best things about the community aspect is not only do I get to personally compete with other fed heads on that level, because I don't get to compete as a fed head, right? It's competition, right? Let's put out. Oh man, they got really good results. I like how their website's badass, or like blah blah blah, right? There's that competition, right? But also, it opens up the door for different matches. Um, Saying like, hey, I never knew this guy was a good of a writer as he could because, I'm in my HOW bubble. Now that we're interacting with another Fed, you start to see other people, and that's how a lot of the guys joined HOW in that last era from '08 to 16 was joining from other Feds, and like Steve Solix, Eric EZ, he ran his own Fed, came in, right? LPW, we had um, Peach, what was that? Peach Wrestling Fed. I mean, we had a lot of interaction with a lot of feds over the years. Four Corners, Boardwalk, and that's how you get these other mix and match. Like right now, half our roster is in Defiance, half of Defiance
Yeah,
is in HOW. Okay, is there anything that we do on each other's shows? Absolutely not. Up to the handlers to play off it if they want, or they keep it separate. That's on them. But I would love to get other feds involved. I put it out there. I want to find affiliates. I want to work with other feds. This is just not the way you would do that. The opposite
no,
would be, let's work together. Let me throw a snazzy little Federation X or a PCW or a MVW logo on the Twitch stream. Let's hype them up. Have one of their guys come on the show, hype it up.
yep,
That,
absolutely.
and then do the same thing on their shows. They have their live results. We give them a banner. They put the banner in their results. And you guess what? What you have is, hey, you know what? I feuded with everybody on the HOW roster. I'm gonna go over here for a minute, but I'm gonna have the HOW flag on. I'm gonna fly that, but I'm gonna go compete over here with a bunch of fresh guys, fresh faces, fresh feuds. And then that's the best part of the hobby is And I'll be honest with you, a lot of these feds I won't even look at because they have shitty ass websites. I can't even look at a fucking pro
well,
board fed. Fuck
well,
that.
that's always been your bugbear.
I can't do it. And they might have literally some of the best writers ever, but I'm not gonna fucking look at it because the cover of the book is so fucking shitty. I'm not even gonna read page one, and that is very materialistic. I don't know what the word is, but it just is what it is. I'm not, if to me, it's so easy nowadays to use the resources or ask for help. I'm willing to, we have plenty of resources we just don't use anymore. Dude, sloppy seconds on some of our old websites would look amazing compared to what some of these guys are using right now, right? Buy the .com, get a WordPress site, get a this or that. I think,
Yeah, you can just do Google Sites these days and just,
yeah,
like,
just anything to show that. Look, at the end of the day, it's all the content's created by the handlers, no doubt. My job is to make it an exciting site to look at, or one that's clean and easy to use to help with the immersion of said handlers. So when the content is filled up on the website with their writing, it looks good. And then my job is posers, videos, stuff like this. We're trying Twitch this year. Just all this other stuff is just so we
mm.
can help with the immersion, push it a little forward. Audio has always been an HOW, always. And incorporate that with the live results is what you want to do. And we're trying it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, who gives a fuck?
Um, yeah, and there's when you're interacting with Fed, there's always going to be teething issues, and I think it's just the testament to how strong that relationship's going to be is how those teething issues are dealt with, like how the Feds, like once you've hit that point, does everyone realize what's happened and are on the same page? And if so, then you're probably going to keep on trying to make things work. And then if you're not on the same page, then you're going to go in different directions.
Which
God,
is fine.
you don't.
You won't know it until you really try and you try it the right way, right? And
Absolutely, yeah.
because the one thing that you have, right, is because of our format, unless you're like a CAW fed where it's like you're streaming WWE 2K21
Oh,
or
or
yeah,
Fire Pro or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
where you can't control, you can't do the crazy stuff. By the way, speaking of crazy stuff, in pro wrestling, I keep saying this, but you've seen Vince McMahon get blown up in a limo. I've seen Randy Orton set somebody on fire. I've seen a guy face himself and rip his heart out on Impact Wrestling, all within the last few months. I'm just saying what we do. I feel like we're behind now a little bit.
Yep. Well, I was just thinking there, one of my favorite stories about that Vince McMahon limo explosion was apparently Donald Trump phoned WWE HQ the next day to ask if Vince was okay.
Which is awesome. And I mean, I think Vince was back in like 3 weeks. It's wrestling. It is what it
Well,
is.
he was back the next week because
Yeah.
unfortunately that storyline killed because someone murdered his family.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the point being is, what I was getting to is the typed word. There's only so many ways to make it look right. You're typing words. It's what are you gonna do? It's just how it's framed on the website, and we've always been good about making sure, even if we had a roster of shitty writers, people are still going to check them out because the website, you can tell there's been time put into it and there's been money put into it, and people are spending time making banners and graphics. We have a lot of people that make it, and that's one of the things that somebody asked me the other day is, one of the things you do to make sure that to kick off a Fed is make sure you have a staff, and I delegate. I used to not delegate at all, right? So Scotty Wood, you're on title histories. Stevens, you're on all the records. Make sure those get updated. Um, Mike does the graphics, banners, right? We have
Mm.
we open up the news posting to all handlers. If you want to post news, it's not just on me to post news. That way the front page is always cycling through with new stuff. The only one that gets static would be the breaking news. If that's static, that's very clear and easy for me to go, oh shit, I'm a little behind on breaking news, or maybe there hasn't been any. But the point being is, um, even like what happened just right recently in Atlanta, where you're in a hotel room, you're quarantined, don't have access to your rig, running shit on your phone. There's still being updates being done to title history. There's still, this, and this. So the fact that we do that and we make it look decent, now it's all about what eyes do you get on it, and that's part of the reason why 2021 I really want to get more eyes on our stuff. I want more people to see what our people are writing, and let's open the door to some interactions and some more cross promotional stuff to where maybe we do have one offs every pay per view period. We just have one match on the pay per view that's just a cross fed match. We're kind of doing that with the Bros coming back. The Bros came back, but they're not going to be full time in HOW. They're back and they're feuding with the tag titles. And we kind of keep going from there. I mean, that's the goal. And do more stuff like this. We're going to see more interaction and more eyes. I mean, maybe potential new members. Um, and you just freshen up the roster here and there. You're always gonna have people rotate in and out, right? You bottom 5% of a Fed. If I have 20, 25 people in here, you already know the bottom 4 or 5 are always gonna rotate in and out. I would love to rotate those in with people that are based on timing in real life and based on their availability. Might be just be an old member of the roster, or it could be someone new that we just don't know.
Sorry, I was just because someone linked me to Twitter, and I'm just annoyed.
Yeah,
it's awful.
I don't care about it. I'm done with that.
I know. The only thing I'll say is because Devon's in the chat, like Devon, I've had to do this a few times, and people have had to do this with me a few times. You may want to talk to your boy and just get him to just stop.
Or I will say this: mute is a beautiful thing, and block is a beautiful thing. If somebody's annoying you, just block them. I follow no one on Twitter. People tag me, I'll say untag me. I've had to block you, Mike, Max, Scotty, Stevens, everybody. I don't see any of it. Ignorance is total bliss. Fuck Twitter. Fuck your little bullshit on there. I just don't know it. I don't see it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm good.
I mean, my life has significantly improved since I placed a Twitter account.
Exactly. It's just the negative energy of suck. And some people like to watch the world burn, as they all say and the old meme says, but not me. I need as much positive interaction in my life as possible because every Saturday and Sunday morning I get enough negativity from people reacting to results that could last a lifetime. So I'm not going to willingly add to it by purposely going out and seeking out the negative bullshit. I don't give a fuck about it. I really don't. It's so easy for me just to hit ignore and just not play or no sell whatever's going on. I don't care. I really don't. But again, I hope it dies down and like anything, it will pass and it will be not talked about, but I do hope that it dies quickly because again, those two fatheads that I've talked to and the guys that I've talked to on the side, they all seem like good peeps. They're all vets of the game. I would like to, open up that circle. They got a lot of history, so it's like if they got a lot of history and they got this, they're doing something. But you hate for that door to be shut because of a couple or one or two folks and just relenting or unrelenting bullshit on the Twitter machine.
I mean, I know you're talking about me and Pot Kettle Black and Mike and all that, but
I didn't. I said you and you only. By the way,
you said Mike earlier as well. So
I said I've
been listening. You said before the blocks earlier in the conversation. I've been listening.
See, you just can't let it go either. You want to keep talking about the negative shit.
No, what I'm saying is, and you'll get what I mean by this, is I feel like this isn't a me and Mike situation with this guy. I think it's a Jace situation.
No. You're right. I agree with you. I'm saying the circumstances are totally different, 100%. But the reason behind someone continuously going back and forth is because they know they're getting reaction. Right? If you know you're going to get a reaction out of me, you continuously say the same shit in every chat room that you've ever been in with me, knowing it's going to get a reaction from you and it makes yourself giggle and it pops 2 or 3 people. That's it. Same thing. I'm just saying the circumstances are 100% different. I'm saying the reason the person keeps going is because they're getting the reaction and they're feeding into it and they're loving it. That's all. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
2 totally different scenarios, though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But the reason
to use an old expression at this point, it is what it is.
It is what it is, sir.
I guess the only thing I'm thinking now is I just hope it doesn't like taint the match, like because it almost feels like on your end you're fucking damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point.
And that's what we talked about a couple minutes ago. And hopefully you're not
Yeah.
drunk and blacked out, and you're starting to.
No, I know.
Okay,
I'm just
okay,
backing up your point. Jesus Christ.
That was a big mimosa you did, or whatever it was you were making.
It was an espresso martini. It was delicious.
Oh, When does one get one? Said Martini. I never seen espresso in a martini glass, to be honest with you.
You never had an espresso martini? They're delicious.
No, I'm not a fancy boy like you. I'm not.
It's some Kahlua, some vodka, some espresso.
Wow.
Shake it all up in a cocktail maker, get the foam going.
Wow, that's fancy.
I am a fancy lad, and we've been through this many times.
Yes. Understood. And I know this, and I appreciate you being a fancy boy. And we just need more ascots in our life. That's all. All right, can we move on?
I was just going to say I did get that MGF scarf for Christmas.
All right, we're gonna move on. All right, so I said we would talk about it. We talked about it. I didn't know.
Yeah, we've talked.
We did it before the show. I'm fine with it. And honestly, if anybody has any questions or concerns or whatever, they know where to find me. And again, I was satisfied with the reaction and the talk I had with a couple of people I did talk to offline. So if it continues on, it's between the handlers, and honestly, unless I have to revolve, I'm not gonna be around. So it's still one of those things. Like you just said, it is what it is. All right. So what we'll do is let's take we'll go. You know what? We got a couple more minutes. So let's go to the top of the hour, and then we'll take an intermission. And during that intermission, we'll get the opening of the show going. And then we'll come back live for the live portion of the show posting. There are a couple segment spots open. Anybody interested, hit me up. Any of the, again, second round, it's still HOFC summarize. People are liking the shortened results. Most of the people I think did 3 RPs, so you're looking at least 3 paragraphs per result. And then when we come back, I'll really talk about, and because the main event is a regular match tonight, right? I want to talk about my goal and what I'm going to be kind of pushing hard with the match riders here in 2021 as we kind of, for the next couple of weeks, we have one regular match per show as the HOC tournament, the Danucci Cup, finalizes and wraps up. And I want to set the stage, and I haven't got a chance to read it yet, but I know Mike sent in the main event, so I want to peep it out. But me and him had a quick chat this morning to talk about, moving forward, kind of the format, and I kind of gave him an idea, a quick snippet, and I know he was excited and on board to put that into play. So I look forward. There's some stuff I want to talk about, but we'll save it for the live portion of the show. For now, though, anything else you want to add about anything else, Colin? We got about 2 minutes, so I'll let you got an open floor, if you will, but I don't want to talk anymore about that bullshit
though. No, I think we had a good discussion on it. So I said what I want to say. No.
And if it was you, if it was Jad Starr, who's been with me since I don't care who it was, or somebody that was brand new, and they were in HOW, and that happened to them another Fed, I got their back 100%. I'm no selling that. There's no way I'm allowing that to come in for our 4 walls, because that's just not how we play the game. So as long as they understand that and our handler understands that, then we're good. And it's just handlers, fucking each other up on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say a big picture, like having interfed stuff's cool. Like I know we tried to get that off the ground with what was that Fed for a while? CWF, was it? We were going to have like more interfed stuff because we built a relationship. I remember, like, because I wasn't really involved in it, but I remember Mike writing a segment where the Empire was still on the go, and the Empire went to CWF to do something. My brain is mush, so I don't remember these things all that great. But because I got the early onset dementia, but having that kind of stuff's great. It's just I don't think anyone would ever people love the opportunity to do that. Like it's exciting. It tells stories. It builds stuff. It's just hopefully,
And you never know where it's going to go, right? It could
yeah,
go nowhere, or it could lead into like a year-long thing, right?
yeah.
You just never know, and it's
You never know. And my hope, like particularly with something like the Danucci Cup, where you've got that word count limit 750. It's more appealing to people maybe than having to worry about role playing against guys who are going to write drop 4K 5K on you. Like there's opportunity. I think the HOFC by itself might open up more opportunities for wider interaction.
yeah, and that's the thing, right? The key word there is the interaction. The reason we're trying Twitch and trying different stuff is the increased interaction. The other reason, to help with immersion, to help the handlers to know that the Fed head's doing this, and this to help change. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? At least we tried. And the same thing when it comes to the interaction with other Feds. Um, you try it. If it doesn't work, so be it. We both go to our own sandboxes, and who gives a fuck? We keep playing how we were playing. But if there is something there and you can grasp onto, it blows the doors open to look. Even when we were in Interfeds, 80% of the roster didn't give a fuck about it, right? They just wanted to, HOW. I don't give a fuck about that other shit. The other 20% had a blast with it and had fun. They wanted to see how they did, how they competed against other folks. So at the end of the day, you just want to give people options. When this hobby becomes a job, that's when people flake out and they no show and it becomes burnout city. When you can break up the monotony of the week to week grind or how you play the game all the time, that's all I try to do. And there's
I
been
mean,
plenty of ideas I've thrown against the wall that were completely shit, but I tried. And then the other thing is, I've had plenty of ideas that I threw against the wall that stuck. And those are the ones you run with. But you don't know until you try. That's all.
and I think also like the thing we all have to kind of acknowledge is that inevitably in this hobby burnout will happen. Like it doesn't matter like how good a run you're on, how big a streak you are, how excited you are for a long time. Eventually, you're going to run out of ideas. You're going to run out of how you're going to approach stuff. You're going to burn out. Like that's just going to happen. And I think it's just like when you recognize those points and when you hit those points, what do you do about that? How do you do you start a new character? If you start fresh, do you take a time off? Because it's going to happen. Like I think that's one
Oh
thing.
yeah, for sure. I get
Yeah,
burned out, and I don't even role play. You know what I mean? I get burned out. And that's where you just got to know that. And that's the good thing about having a roster is you can rotate people in and out. When's the last time you wrote a role play? That's my point is you have the
yeah.
opportunity to still be part of the Fed without having to role play. There's other options. And if the option
Genuinely,
is,
the genuine answer I believe is July.
yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing is maybe the option is I just do radio. I don't have to type. It's burned out. I'm gonna get the itch again because guess what? E-fetting's crack, right? At some point you're gonna get the itch and you're gonna want to do it. Okay, the door's open. Um, and the more doors that are open, more options. The more options you have, the more fun you'll have. When you feel like you can't do anything else or you've done everything you can, it's a job now. And I don't want to make this a job because guess what? Real life sucks dick as it is. I've always said that. And this should be a distraction from the real life.
Yeah,
That's why we no sell the cocoa, the coronavirus. That's why we no sell it. That's why we do this. We don't do this because I don't want to be. I'm reminded on the daily. I don't want to be reminded when I'm reading role plays or writing matches or looking at graphics or reading news posts, but that's my sandbox, right? The other sandbox, like, hey, let's lean into it. Let's play into the pandemic. Our wrestlers are getting tested. We're doing this. We're doing that. I mean, that's the good thing. Like the one thing that the hobby has over real wrestling is there's a million companies. Even when there's a lull in wrestling and it's not popular and the creative writing's not popular and e-fetting's not popular, there's still at least a good 100 to 1,000 feds that we don't even know about that are just out there running, skeleton crews. You know what I mean?
and I think it's going to be interesting as well with AEW because they're attracting a younger audience. So I'm wondering if that might uh, TikTok e-feds. Oh, that's a horrifying thought. TikTok trolls. I've just made myself sad. Let's stop talking.
Yeah. I will say this on a side. I did. I'm not going to dig into it because it's not my place to speak to it. But the handler, yeah, I talked to him. I mean, from my end, it's done. I'll end that before we go to intermission and come back for the live show. In my opinion, it's done. As of right now, there's no nothing that's burned the bridges completely to the ground. I think it
No.
just needs to simmer. It needs to die down, let the storm pass. And honestly, the
The,
storm was between, let's be honest, 1, 2 people. It shouldn't affect the whole Fed and this.
yeah.
So now, again, so
The only
everybody can say the
thing, the
right
only
shit tonight,
thing,
and we'll see how it goes. Now,
yeah,
if and just leave it
the only,
alone.
the only thing I'd ask in this situation is that other handler who made the mistake, and he made it fair enough. He didn't know, but I would say if people are listening and are interacting with him, someone just have a quiet word with him. Draw the line under it. Don't double down.
It's
Don't
it's
make things
done. It's
worse.
already it's
Just
done.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
me,
Because that's the only thing I'd ask in this situation is
it, in
someone
terms of
someone just
me, he
yeah.
proactively hit me up. He's listening. He hit me up on the side. I'm not. It's I won't get into it. It's not my place to say, but just say that all the reasons that we I assume because I've been there, done that, right? And our roster is really good at doing the same shit, yourself included. I use you as an example because you're on the fucking show with me, dickhead. Don't take it
Well, I
personally.
mean, I'm not taking.
Fancy boy
I'm
with an
retired. I
with
am.
an I.
I'm. I'm
With
retired. I'm a retired Hall of Famer and EFED podcast #8 wrestler of 2020. Um, so I'm fine. Like, say whatever you want about me. I'm a
you're great.
retiree now.
All right. So, all right, we're 3 minutes past what I wanted to hit, which
I
obviously.
need to pee anyway, so please do an intermission.
So you want to keep going? Well, I'll keep going until you piss yourself.
I mean, I will piss in the sink if it comes to it.
That has happened on the horror quite often. Let's be honest. So I'm gonna avoid that
No, I'm
because
not,
I'm not that guy.
I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that in my family. It's absolutely not.
All
If
right.
I lived
So
back in Korea living by myself, maybe, but nope, not right now.
all right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take an intermission. We'll come back here in 30, 45 minutes, and what we'll do in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is I'll get the opening of the show ready. We'll go live at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock Central Time with the show. And again, there's 2 open spots left for segments and booking on the fly, anything. That's the other thing I'm looking forward to doing these live shows is we can do some really good booking on the fly. Um, got a good surprise, some graphics that I worked on. Me and Colin were testing them out earlier. I think they're going to help add, especially we're going to test it tonight and kind of move forward. I think it will be a good interaction for those watching on the Twitch stream as opposed to those that read the results the following day. And we'll kind of talk about all that. So, all right, folks, we're going to head to intermission. We'll be back in 56 minutes.